Tonight's playlist is just a little psycho. We're talking Alfred Hitchcock with a full symphony. We've got abstract art and live music from Ryan Van Slooten right after this.
Funding for the playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
That reaches out and draws you in. Ryan Van Slooten debuts new music tonight on the playlist. Please welcome Ryan Van Slooten.
Say goodbye to doing time here on Hard Street. Easier times have got to be on the way. Don't hold your breath or wait for death to instruct you. Leave the rest washed away in your way.
We've got live music in the studio, more coming up, abstract painting and Psycho after this.
It would start with a kind of a mournful atmosphere, and throughout the evening it's more of a celebration of what's to come. All Souls Night starts at 6 o'clock with the viewing of the ofrendas and face painting for anyone who wants to change their appearance. Then at 7 o'clock we do the funeral march for Rotten Ideas that goes around the library, and at 8 o'clock is the fire dancers. So in between that we have Sarah Thompson and the Echoes of Peace Choir, Lady Slipper Dance Company, and the Magic Smelt Stilters will be joining us for the parade. So everyone in Duluth is invited, and we have a whole cross-section of people that show up. My name is Mary Plaster. I'm the founding artist of Duluth's All Souls Night. This year is on November 1st from 6 to 9, and this is our 5th annual.
The film Psycho and its musical score casts a shadow some 50 years after it was made. The Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra is screening Alfred Hitchcock's classic suspense thriller and playing the musical score to Psycho live. Here to talk about the film and the Psycho event are film critic Brent Nottbaum. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
And Kevin Hoshin from the Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra. Welcome,
Great.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, Psycho. Where does it fall in our collective psyche?
You know, in thinking about what to say about this, I kept saying, why after 50 years is this still this film that captures our imagination? And I guess the short answer is it's still a scary movie. You know, it's still sort of the definitive scary movie in a lot of ways, and in part because of its music, and in part because it's directed by the great Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, but in many ways was also the master of film technique. And so if you look at each shot, the editing, the cinematography, the performances of the film, everything about it come together to create this masterpiece of horror, of terror, that has, of course, perhaps the most famous, or one of the most famous sequences in all of film history, the shower scene.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Kevin, it's the music. And even Alfred Hitchcock knew the music made a difference.
Oh, definitely. When Bernard Herrmann wrote this music, you know, he did amazing things that had never been done before. He decided to use only the string section of the orchestra. And then when they asked him later why he decided only one section, we said the film was in black and white, and he wanted to use only one color of the instruments of the orchestra. So he took the string section. And the string section he chose because you could get the widest number of effects. I can show you like some effects for scary music, for example. We sometimes will play close to the bridge called Sul Ponticello. You'll probably recognize this tune. A really icy sound. And then you can do things to sound like a knife or something going like which is used on this page here.
So you guys are ready to do this?
Well, we will be by a week from now, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And it is in black and white, and that is one of the I think when we're used to a Technicolor world, seeing a black and white film today kind of adds that element of mystery or impact or,
You know, it was actually Hitchcock's first black and white film in several years. He was just coming off a series of some of his most successful films in the 1950s, perhaps Vertigo, Rear Window, and North by Northwest, which was the film that he had completed just prior to this. Of course, at the same time, his Alfred Hitchcock Presents television program was going on, and that was in black and white. But part of its being in black and white, Hitchcock felt that it was just going to be too gory to make a film like that in color. This is a film that was made in the 1959 and released in 1960, an era in which gratuitous violence was not allowed because of the production code. And so he felt that black and white would allow him to get away with some of the implied violence that was going to be a key part of his design for the film.
and it definitely did, right? Especially that shower scene. Have you guys watched this film again since you started? Yes?
I was watching it earlier today, and it was really frightening. One thing I thought was really interesting was that Alfred Hitchcock had decided the shower scene would be silent and have no music at all. But Bernard Herrmann said, listen, Mr. Hitchcock, the music I have will make it even better. And sure enough, when Alfred Hitchcock heard what he had written and that amazing music, he not only used the music, but he doubled Bernard Herrmann's salary.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. He also, at the final climactic scene in the film, because he loved that music from the shower scene, he chose to use that in the final scene of the film, which was also originally without any kind of a score. And Hitchcock and Herrmann were watching a print of the film, and Hitchcock said, we need to replay that particular piece of music here at the end of the film. And of course, you know, the shower scene gets a lot of the play, but the ending of the film is pretty darn scary as well.
It's just that scary kind of setting. You know, it's like, oh, rural scene, scary guy out in the woods, you know. So what do you play during the shower scene? Do you know? What's in your...
Actually, we've got it here. I found it here. It's really interesting because the only thing I think scarier than violas playing up high and sliding, we've got this thing that goes, like I was showing, it goes like... And the only thing, if you look at this, I'm like going up to an E flat, but Ron Carey next to me is going up to an E natural. So the only thing scarier than a viola doing this is two violas doing it together a half step apart.
And what do you think Wayne and Julie, regular symphony goers, are going to think about sitting down and watching a film while you guys perform?
I think the more you know about it, it's like any masterpiece. You know, the more you look at the detail, the more you appreciate it. I mean, you can take like a little motif, like something like, you can build something amazing, and when you understand how it's put together, you see the power of the human mind. The same thing is here. He uses these little tiny, these little motifs to create like this feeling of agitation or worry, you know? Yeah, and you'll hear it all the way through. It's amazing how he uses this little idea, just like Beethoven used it, to create something really human and very powerful, and it's right there.
So are you going to go? Have I hooked you in? Do you want to go?
I want to go very badly, except for I'm out of town that particular weekend. So, but you know, I think an opportunity, and I was just telling some of my students about it earlier today, to not only see Psycho projected on the big screen, but to actually have a live accompaniment for a movie, which is something I have experienced a couple of times in my life, is really one of those unique opportunities because it sort of combines what's best about both cinema and live performance. Two things that seem sort of separate in some ways, but when they come together, it has that same energy that one gets out of experiencing something live, but also then the beauty of the image that the cinema can offer.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and I know not so scary. There's actually a kids concert on Saturday. We have to sneak that in really quick.
Oh yeah, so as a prelude to this, the day after tomorrow at Denfeld High School in the auditorium, our youth orchestras are putting on the Not So Scary concert for kids, first one ever. Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We're doing all kinds of great music, including little bits and pieces of the Alfred Hitchcock, bum, 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 Scooby-Doo, Phantom of the Opera, Dance Macabre, all kinds of really, really fun, scary stuff just for kids, and kids of young and old.
Well, thank you both for sharing your expertise and your enthusiasm. I think it's a great opportunity to show off what we do in this town, in this community.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, I just want to remind you, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho with live score will be screened Saturday, November 3rd at Symphony Hall here in Duluth. Now, painter Adam McCauley pays his respects to the great artists in history. He draws inspiration from them while he creates his own vision of texture and color in bright, abstract terms.
You know, I just love color, that's my subject. And so this is just a cobalt blue over a cobalt blue, but if you know, I'm going to leave just enough. The way the color reacts against darker colors, it just drives me. My name is Adam McCauley. I live in Duluth, Minnesota, and I'm a painter. I use different things to kind of lift paint, and it will leave like a little bit of a mark. I want something that'll break up the painting surface. I think that's my primary goal with using the texture. So you can see some of the underpainting, and then you can see some of the action on top.
He's got a fascinating way of layering and allowing his processes to really show.
The sand wrecks the sinks too. But it adds, it does, in my process it does two things. It kind of helps me negate the thicker passages, and it also adds something for the next color to go over it.
And his surfaces are just, there's something just so lush and fascinating about them. I mean, you just kind of want to dive in.
It's about the interaction of the color that's underneath with the color on top. So everything painted before actually really affects how the finished painting will be. Now immediately when I look at this piece, this is too figurative for me. You know, like I see immediately like a head, and so I don't like that element in there. So I think what I'll do is I'll tape it off right here, because I kind of like this thick red paint right here.
Some people are afraid of purely abstract work, and they might say, oh, I could do that. And my response is, I think you should try it.
I want it to be layered, so when you look at it, it reveals more of its history too. You know, like, oh, he made a mark here.
It adds another layer of thought. Not just the initial painting that he had in mind, but it's using that and going forward with it.
I guess it comes down to beauty. I'm trying to make something that's beautiful or interesting come into the world, and I think if people see the same things, I think that's when I actually succeed. You know, I mean, then I'm like, you see it, you feel it, you understand it, and then it makes it worthwhile. I mean, painting itself is worthwhile, but there's always a reward, you know, and you're always trying to find that.
Now, Adam's work has graced our playlist gallery a few times in the past and is available at Lizard's Art Gallery here in Duluth. Now, tonight's gallery features a mixed media piece by Jeff Schmidt, as well as ceramics by Richard Grushala and Karen Rossetti, and glasswork by Robinson Scott. Now, all of them have work on display at Lizard's Gallery. You can see past galleries, watch episodes, and make suggestions on our website at theplaylistonline.org. Now, to catch the latest playlist news, like the show on Facebook and follow Playlist MN on Twitter. And now, please welcome back Ryan Van Slooten.
Somewhere, somebody's gonna get it wrong. Somewhere, somebody plays the same old song, and it hurts to give it everything and feel like it's getting worse. Not asking for the world, just only what you deserve. Somebody's gonna get it right.
Well, thank you, Ryan, very much for coming over and taking time for us tonight.
Thank you very much.
It's really nice to have you here.
Very nice to be here.
Okay, so tell me about this new music.
Well, it's been about a year, a little over a year since my last album came out, and over the winter promoting that album, and I was trying to write songs and really wasn't happening. I was getting pretty frustrated actually, and then all at once this summer the songs started coming again, and now I'm starting to feel really good about where things are going again, and kind of going a little bit different direction, a little more pop to it now. Put a band behind me now, and just trying some different things and just experimenting a little bit right now.
So when you're writing, do you hear all these other parts, or do you probably play other instruments as
yeah,
well? So.
I do all the recording of the demos at home myself, and so I do a lot of the instrumentation, the guitars and the pianos, all that. And so a lot of the parts I kind of have to invent as I'm sitting there, and so it's cool when I've done that at home to hear it come together, but then now to have these guys playing those parts, that was really cool when we got together, and to hear it come alive is an awesome feeling.
And you have some great musicians kind of.
Yeah, these guys are awesome, and I'm so grateful to all these guys for helping me out and doing this. And we're going to try and get out and play some more shows here. We just got to get a few more practice under our belt. We only got one practice in before this, so we did okay, I think, tonight.
Oh, I think you did fabulous.
And that's attributed to these guys. They really did their work outside of here, and that I really appreciate all the work they put into it.
And what's fun about this performance is we get to hear these songs in progress. So,
yeah,
I mean,
you know, they're still a little rusty. They need a little polishing yet, but that's kind of the fun part about it too, is you get to hear the progression, and it doesn't have to be crystal clean and just perfect. And I kind of like it to be that way, but I know it's not going to be that way, and it's good for me. So.
Yeah. And all these pieces will hopefully be gathered together on a new release.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go into the studio in the spring and record a new album. Right now, there's just so many songs that I've written. I don't know what's going to be on it exactly. These songs will be on it, I'm sure, but still just kind of piecing it together and just having fun doing that and experimenting with things I haven't done before and try and make a different record from the last one.
Well, how awesome. Thank you for bringing it over and sharing your music, and
Absolutely.
good luck with it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I know you have one more song for us.
Yes, I do. Another very new one as of last night new. So that one's also a little rusty, but I'll give it a shot.
All right, as you get ready, I'm going to wish everybody else a great night. Thank you for joining us this evening, and remember to go out and support live art and local music. Have a great weekend.
I know it's all gonna work out fine. Hold on, a good love will ease your mind. I'll wait as long as you need me to. Don't say sorry for what you're going through. I'll be standing here where you left me, dear. Even in the pouring rain, I won't let you down when you stand your ground, when you shed the tears that you've kept locked away, as long as it will take. Now I've seen the good, bad, and in between. Cause you are You've always been the same to me. 'Cause you're now, and I've never been the one that failed. So go on and fight for a tooth and nail. I'll be standing here